Hello, AP Cambridge students. I'm here to take you through the next part of the critical step. Actually, for this project, I think we're going to look specifically at evaluation. So we're going to deal this project with deconstruction and evaluation. Reconstruction is one of our critical path steps, but it actually fits in much better with what we're going to do and the concepts we're going to learn in our next unit. So for this unit, we are going to deconstruct and then we're going to evaluate or reflect. So select the critical path questions, and you'll notice in here there's the deconstruction questions and the evaluation questions. So this is the fun part of the project. This is where I think I get to really see your process and how the project has had an effect on you. And this is where I would urge you to be very honest. Either way, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say you're pro social networking at school all the time. You're not going to hurt them if you say you're not. But I really do want you to reflect on what the process, what the learning, what the interviewing and reading has done, and see if it's changed or altered your views at all. So our first question is, what were the personal, no, sorry, I need to edit that, viewpoints you held before carrying out this research? So rewind 3.5 weeks, first day of school, and think what you thought about social media. And you guys have now interviewed students and parents and teachers and administrators and school board members. But before you did all that, what did you think? Did you want Facebook unblocked at school? Did you want to use Twitter at school? And think both personally and educationally. Did you want those things? The next question you'll answer is, how do those personal viewpoints relate to the perspectives identified in your research? Now this question's a little tricky. So basically here I'm asking you to look at who you chose as your sources and see how they relate to your personal views. So for instance, if I want Facebook open at school, I might have chosen sources that I think support my view, or I might have chosen sources that I think show the really crazy side of people not wanting social media at school. So think about how your first personal viewpoints related to the perspectives that you identified. How are you arguing for social media, for or not at school? Are you using science and technology? Are you using culture? Think about the type of people and the type of sources you're using. The next question is, what impact has the research had on your prior viewpoints? Now there's a few answers you can have here, but I'd really like you to elaborate. The first one is none at all. That means nothing you learned has altered anything you felt about social networking, especially within a school environment. Your viewpoints are exactly the same. They haven't changed one bit. The next answer you might have is they've changed. So they started one way and now they are some way else. So explain that. And the next way I think you could say is they've changed some, or you've kind of taken a big step towards the middle. So you might not have moved from yes to no or no to yes, but you might have moved from yes to maybe or no but. So I'd like you to reflect here with a couple sentences on how the research has impacted your views. Lastly, why has the research had an effect on your views? So think about the people we talked to, the articles you read, everything we've done so far. Why has this maybe impacted your views at all? Okay, so give me a few sentences there, again, like one or two, telling me why you think the research has affected you. Next, what additional research might be useful? We could probably create a whole class on social media in the global sphere, but obviously for time purposes we need to move on. If we could do this longer, who else do you think it would be interesting to talk to? Who would you like to do more research on? What other types of articles or information would you like to read? And finally, what has been learned from the process of the research? After you've done all of these things, you've gone through all of these steps, what have you learned? It might have been something personal about your work ethic. It might have been something generic about social media and life. It might be something about adults. But talk about what you've learned from doing this. So I'd like you to be genuine, I'd like you to be honest, and talk about this. So, to kind of sum up, your essay should deconstruct the sources you want to use, your at least 3 sources, and then I would like you to evaluate the process of your research. So, I don't want to tell you a specific length, but I need at least 3 paragraphs again for your deconstruction, and probably a paragraph at the end where you're talking about your reflection. So nothing super formal, not like a 5 paragraph essay, but I do want you to kind of go through and reflect on these questions. Our essays will get a lot more formal as we move forward and as we add reconstruction into our critical method next unit. So thank you for following along. Again, you can rewatch or rewind any part of this, but evaluation I think is my favorite part of the critical path.